Hey everyone, how's each and every one of you are doing on this Saturday afternoon or early evening? I hope that each of you are having a good weekend and keeping cool from the summer heat and keeping the people and surrounding areas of the coastal bend in our thoughts and prayers for their safety and well-being, whatever area they're living affected by Hurricane Beryl. Just let you know we are keeping y'all in your prayers. And the most importantly, safety and well-being is much important. So just to let everyone know in this video that we are y'all in our thoughts and prayers. Well, let's begin in this lesson. We are talking about fractions, and this is the fractions operations. The title is a little bit confusing, but it's not. As you can see, the selected problems here, we have the mixed numbers and fractions by itself. We have two problems from adding, two problems for subtracting, two problems for multiplication, and two problems for dividing. So let's begin. So anytime you want to stop the video, you're more than welcome to stop at any time, because that should let you know that that don't want to see anyone fall behind. So that's my main objective, main concern. So don't fall behind. And the notes will be posted on the Canvas page or Google Classroom page, just to give you a heads up. All right, let's begin. We have two problems, number 1 and number 2. Number 1, it says finding each sum. It says 4.5 plus 1 3/8. So whenever you see this type of problems here, first things first, you see the fractions right here instead of the whole number. We're gonna line it up. I'll tell you why I'm gonna line them up. Okay, like that. The reason why I line them up, because we're gonna do the actual we're gonna do the work. We're gonna clean it up a little bit. And the first things first is I will say this. What is the common denominator out of these two fractions? First things first, we're going to take these fractions first. And what is the common denominator? If you said 8, you're correct. Very good. The reason why is this. We know you can do 16, you can do 24, but those numbers you could easily reduce, to be quite honest with you. The reason why is 8, because once you actually going to do the actual work, you will see why in a few minutes. All right. Any questions so far on this first part? Okay. All right. We don't have to worry about the second part, so we're going to put 3 right here. Now we had to be concerned. We're a little bit concerned. We're concerned on this part. Which number that is 2 multiply what number to get 8? What number do we use? We use 4, right? 4 goes in the bottom of the 4 goes in the bottom, and the 4 goes on top. And now we are going to clean up just a little bit more. So what's 1 times 4? 4. All right. So far, so good, right, folks? All right. Then we can do is we're going to add these two new fractions. And when you see the denominator the same, we can leave that alone. All right, we'll leave that part alone. And all we need to do is add the numerators. What's 4 plus 3? 7. See? Not too bad, right? So we just clean it up a little bit. The top section, In the bottom part, we're going to leave it alone because we have the same denominator, but there's no numbers that multiply each of those on the numerator and the denominator side and the bottom. Now we need to concern this at the top. So, any questions so far on this part? All right. So let's add the two whole numbers, which is 4 and 1. 4 plus 1 gives us which number? 5, right? Are we finished? Yes. Let's check our work. This is the fun part right here, which is you can get this calculator. I think this one's like under $10. The other one is the white color one. It's like under $20. But this will help you, and this is solar, so you don't have to worry about getting a battery. That's a beauty part. I got the other one, which is going to help me a lot, so I like it. Okay, 4.5. Hope you can see it. Plus 1. Okay, there you go. That's better. 3/8. Can you see that? Okay. Let's go. Let's add them. This is the improper fraction. We can change it to... Oh, no. Let me rephrase. Okay, there you go. Oh, here it is. There you go. I had to press shift and this. I do apologize. 5, 7, 8. Does this work? Does this match? Yes. So that is our final answer. So in order to get this, first thing first, do the fractions first, then line up vertically, and then you find which is the common denominator, which is 8. And we don't have to worry about the bottom part and the bottom section. All you need to be concerned about is the top, and in which number that is multiplied to get 8 on the bottom, which is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. We add those two new fractions. It gives us 7/8. And then once you have that 7/8, then we'll add those two numbers as a whole number, and that gives us a final answer, which is 5 and 7/8. So before we get any further, any more questions on this part? On this problem, actually. Okay, let's go. This one, number 2, it says 3 1/3 plus 5/8. This is a little bit different because the last problem has the two mixed numbers. This one has a one mixed number and one's a regular fraction, but it's doable, okay? So it's manageable actually. So first thing first, we can do line up the fractions. Question. What is the number, what's the common denominator out of these two fractions actually? We know it's bigger than 12. And any guesses on this? Give you 5 more seconds. So if anyone says it's 24, you're correct as our new common denominator. So far, so good, right, folks? It's not too bad, right? Then, shall we do the top section or the bottom section? Let's do the top. What number that gives us 3 times whatever number that gives us 24? It's 8, right? Same thing. We know that 3 times 8 is 24. And this will be times 3 as the number will multiply. So far, so good, right? So we're going to have to figure out the numerators. We got the denominator figured out. So let's do the top one. What's 1 times 8? It's 8. 5 times 3, that gives us 15. All right. Then we have to figure out this part, the add the numerators together. What do we get out of these two numbers? 8 plus 15, that gives us 23, I believe. Halfway done. We're almost done. Now, here's the thing. Since there is no number on the second part, normally it will be the number we have to do. Normally it's the first part that gives us, that's the number we put in front of it. So let's put this in front, which is 3. We're almost done. Let's check out the answer. Okay. This is the problem. That is the actual improper fraction. I'm going to change it to this. 23 over 24. Does it match? Yes. So that is our final answer. So, recap on this problem. So we did exactly the same as the previous problem, finding the actual denominator. And then you fill in the rest of you clean it up just a little bit to make this problem much more suitable. And out of the common denominator out of these two is 24. And then we just found out the what numbers that multiply both the top and bottom parts. The top is multiplied by 8, and the bottom top multiplied by 3. 1 times 8 is 8. 5 times 3 equals 15. Then once you have everything ready, set to go, then you take the denominator, which is 24, and add the numerators together, which is give us 23. 8 plus 15 is 23. And then in this scenario, you find out that this is the second fraction has no number. So automatically, the number will be 3. And that is our final answer. So that wasn't too bad, right? The difference between two whole mixed numbers and one mixed number and a regular fraction. So before we go any further, any more questions that you need to be answered? Any questions on this problem? So that wasn't too bad, right? So let's take care of that. Since we done the addition, we're going to do the subtraction. Difference means subtracting. Sum means add. So we're going to do the difference right here. All right. So we have 1 3/4, number 6. 1 3/4 minus 5/6. Okay. We don't have to work. When you see this problem, when you look at it actually, we need to take care of this mixed number and then turn into which one? Improper fraction, right? Improper fractions like this. So that's when improper fraction looks like a fraction. That's a big difference. So you're turning this into this. That's our first thing. All right. Second of all, turning this over this. When you do the improper fraction, you leave the denominator alone, which is 4. Then the second thing is you taking the whole number, which is 1, and multiply by 4, which 1 times 4 is 4. And the numerator, you add whatever's on the numerator, which is 3. So 1 times 4 is 4. Add 3 more is 7. 7 fourth I move a little more room right here in the bottom, on the side. And we got 5, 6. So any questions on this part? Just all you need to do is turn that mixed number into an improper fraction. And that's what is an improper fraction. That's what is improper fraction, okay? That's an I. All right. Everyone okay to this point? All right. Now, we had to figure out what is the common denominator between 4 and 6. Anyone want to care to take a guess? We could do 24, but we had to do a little much further reducing. So let's go less than 24. Shall we try 12? Okay. Now we got that part, the bottom, the denominator figured out. Now we had to do what number to multiply both the numerator and the denominator, okay? Let's do this first part. Which number does 4 times whatever number to give us 4 times whatever number to give us 12? 3, right? And same thing. What number that multiplies times 6 times whatever number that gives us 12? I believe it's 2. Okay, now we clean it up just a little bit. So let's do the numerators. What's 7 times 3? 21. Then, what's 5 times 2? 10. Now we're almost done cleaning this part. Any questions so far on this portion, this part of the numerator? Okay, very good. Now what we're going to do is, since we have the same denominator, we can leave that alone. And now subtract the numerators. 21 minus 10, that gives us 11. Since there's no other number bigger than 1, we leave this alone. So let's check out the problem on your calculator to make sure everything's on point. I always tell my students to do the work first before checking out the answer to make sure everything's on the right direction. So we have 1 3/4 minus 5 6. 11 twelfths. Does it match? Yes. So we are finished for this problem. So in this part, first thing first, we have a mixed number and a fraction. When you do a subtracting, convert this into an improper fraction like here. Leave the denominator alone. Just add the whole number times whatever is on the denominator, and then you add the numerator, and that's where you have the improper fraction. Then you are going to make room, put minus whatever is on the right side, which is 5 6. 7/4 minus 5 6. Look for the common denominator of both 4 and 6. In this case, we got 12, right? And then we have multiply the respective numbers to get 12 on the first part, which is this one is 3. And the same thing on the second part, which is 2. And you got 7 times 3 is 21 on the numerator in the first part. And 5 times 2 on the second part. When you're actually going to do the simple math, we leave the denominator alone and add subtract the numerators, which is 21 minus 10, that gives us 11. So I hope I gave you any more confidence in building this, understanding the difference, the subtraction part of the fractions. But anywho, Any more questions on number 6? That wasn't too bad, right? That wasn't, right? It gets a little better. Since we have one mixed number and a fraction, now we're going to take care of the second part, which is number 9. Number 9, it says 4 2/5 minus 2.5. All right. Like I said before, turn these two mixed numbers into improper fractions. Let's do this first one. 4 times 5 is 20. We leave the 5 alone as the denominator. 4 times 5 is 20. Add 2 more is 22, I believe. More room at the bottom. We'll leave the 2 alone on this part. Was 2 times 2 is 4. Add 1 more is 5. That's where we turn these two mixed numbers into improper fractions. So far, so good. All right. Now let's figure out the denominator. What number out of 5 and 2 to give us a common denominator? It's 10, right? 5 times 2 is 10. And then we can figure out the numbers here. What number that goes to 5 times whatever number to give us 10? It's 2. Same thing. Kind of flipped over, so we got 5 in the second part. All right, here's the fun part. All right. Now, everything okay to this point? Wonderful. Now we're going to do the numerators. What's 22 times 2? 44. 5 times 5, I believe, is 25. All right. Like the last problem, we're going to leave the denominators alone. That gives a little bit more wiggle room to move. So it's 10 as the denominator. What 44 minus 25, I believe, is 19. Okay, 19 over 10, 19 tenths. But some teachers leave that alone as a final answer. But in this worksheet, we had to convert this improper fraction into a mixed number. So, the question is, what goes inside the box? Is it the denominator, or the numerator? It's the numerator, right? 19. And the outside is the denominator. So far, so good, right? All right. Then, how many times does 19 go into 10? 1, right? What's 1 times 10 is 10, right? What's left over? 19 minus 10 is 9. Almost done. Which is the whole number? The one on top of the box, the remainder, or the number outside the box? The 1, right? Followed by, what's next? The 9 on top or the 10 on top? The 9, right? And then 10. We're almost done. Let's take a gander. Let's take a moment to look over this. We have this. That's the improper fraction I just mentioned to you. Shift and this. 1 9/10. Does it match? Yes. So that is our final answer. So, in order to make this clean it up a little bit, we had to convert these two mixed numbers into two improper fractions, which is in this case the first part and the second part. Then looking at the common denominator and what is the common number between those two numbers that signifies what to multiply. In this case is 10, and then you do the work on one side, which is the first part is 2 multiplied by 2, the second part by 5, and then you actually do the work, and what's left over is 44 minus 25. That gives us 19 over 10, and then turn this into a mixed number. 19 goes inside the box, 10 goes outside. 1 times 10 is 10. 19 minus 10 is 9. The whole number goes first, which is the 1. The remainder goes on the numerator, and the 10 go outside goes inside the denominator. That's how you get 1 and 9/10. Before I go to the second part, any more questions on number 9? Number 9. That wasn't too bad, right, folks? That wasn't. So far we've learned 2 from add, 2 from subtract. Now we're going to learn about product. When you look at the word product, it's another word for multiplying, because they're trying to do on the test, whatever it may be, they're going to try to sneak in some unusual words, as most people don't know what they are, which is understandable. It's like, what is a product? When I first thought about it, like, when they told me that, oh, so it is multiplying. I thought I was talking about like buying a food or school supplies as a product, but this is in math they use it as multiplication. So that now you know what it is. So we got 2 problems, 11 and 12. So number 11 we have 11. We have number 11. So number 11 we have 1 and 3/7 times 10. Like the previous problems, when you see a mixed number, we had to turn into what? Improper fraction. Very good. So we're going to do the improper fraction in this part. 7 goes inside on the denominator. We're going to do the next step. 1 times 7 is 7 times plus 3 more is 10. We got one part out of the way. All right, this is kind of a little bit tricky, but it's okay. Now we have a fraction times a whole number. When you see this, we multiply the numerator times the whole number, which is 10 times 10 to give us 100, I believe. Yes. And then you put whatever's remaining, the denominator, to 7. 100 over 7. We're not finished. All right, we're not finished. Okay, now, like the last problem, something similar like this. Remember that? Okay. What goes inside the box? The 100 or the 7? The 100, right? As 7 goes outside the box. All right. Like I said, some teachers accept the improper fraction. Most of them do ask for a mixed number, and that's what I'm going to do right now in this part. So, question. How many times does 100 go into 7? We know it's going to be bigger than 5, bigger than 10. So 10 times 7 is 70, it's close to 100, but we're almost there. What number after 10? 14, right? 14 times 7, that gives us, I believe, 14 4 times 7 is 28. Add 2 more. Add 2 on the top. 1 times 7 is 7. Add 2 more is 9. 98. It's closer to 100. That looks pretty fair. So we have 100 minus 98. That gives us 2. Now, this is the fun part. What is the whole number? The 14, the remainder 2, or the outside 7? 14, right? It's the whole number. And then what's the numerator? The 2 or the 7? The 2. And the 7 is our denominator. So we're almost finished. 14 2 7s, that's our magic number. Let's do this. That is a common denominator, 40. Oh, no, that's the wrong problem. I'm sorry. Wrong problem. Boo-boo. 1 3/7 times 10. Now we got that right. Convert this into improper fraction. 14 and 2/7. It matches, right? So that's our final answer. That is a final answer, everyone. So when you receive the mixed number times a whole number in the first problem like this, convert this into improper fraction. And then you do the numerator, take the numerator times the whole number, which is give us the answer at the top. And we leave the denominator alone. And then we convert this into a mixed number. So we would divide what goes inside the box is 100. What goes outside the box is 7. And you find out which numbers that multiply to get closer or equal to the number, which is 14 times 7 is 98. 100 minus 98 gives us 2. 14 is the whole number. The 2 is the numerator, and the 7 is the denominator. So there is the first part of multiplying products. So, any more questions on number 11? That wasn't too bad. Actually, that's a lot easier. It was a little less work, but it will help understand the significance of this topic when you go into further, like in 8th grade or 9th grade math and beyond. This will be very significant when you learn the steps and how to figure out to turn the improper fraction into a mixed number, vice versa. So, any more questions, number 11? Okay. All right. So, we have the same thing. Number 12, 7 1/3 times 5 6. Let's do the work. Convert this mixed number into improper fraction. 3 goes inside. So we got 7 times 3 is 21 plus 1 is 22. Times 5 6. Okay. Question. 22 over 22 thirds plus 22 thirds times 5 6. Question. Which numbers can we reduce? Offhand. 22 and 6, right? Very good. What number did we get to get the first part? 22 divided by, I believe, 2 is 11. 6 divided by 2, that gives us 3. Now we're almost done with this part. We clean it up a little bit. So we have the numerator and the denominator. So we got 11 times 5 is 55. Then we got 3 times 3 is 9. Some teachers leave this alone, accept this answer, but we have to make sure that you are on the right path to mixed numbers. So which one goes inside the box? The 55 or the 9? The 55, right? Very good. And the 9 goes outside actually. Okay, question. What number does 55 goes into 55 divided by 9 close to or equal to? I'm thinking 6. 9 times 6, that gives us 54. Then you subtract the difference. 55 minus 54 is 1. The whole number goes in first, which is a 6. And the numerator goes on top, which is the 1 left over, the remainder. And the 9 goes as the denominator. Let's check it out. 6 and 1/9. Okay, this is it. That's the improper fraction. 6 and 1/9. It does match. So that is the final answer. So, in order to do this like the same problem, turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. And then once you have that taken care of, then you bring down the next fraction. And then before getting further, which numbers you can renumber, or any numbers you can be reduced. In this case, it's 22 and 6. That gives us 11 and 3. And then we got 11 times 5 is 55 for the numerator, and the 3 times 3 is 9. The 55 go inside the box, and outside is the 9. And then we got 9 times 6 is 54. That gives us what's remaining at the 55, and minus 54 is 1. 6 is the whole number. The remainder is 1. Go on top of the numerator, and the denominator is 9. So, any more questions? I like this. This is it's effect easier because you know which numbers you can reduce. Otherwise, from the previous one, because there's nothing on the bottom, it's a whole number. That's the difference between this and that, because that one has a whole number and this is a fraction. So that concludes this first part on find each product. All right, we're almost done. All right, we're almost done. Oh, this is my favorite. This is gonna be a little bit much more fun, believe it or not. Watch, you're gonna see in a minute. Find the quotient. We have 17 and 19, right? Find the quotient. We have 7 divided by 2 and 1/2. Okay. First thing first, we have to convert this into an improper fraction, like the previous problem. 2 goes inside the denominator. What is 2 times 2? 4. Add 1 more is 5. All right. We have this dividing. So there are 2 things. Oh, before I get any further, any questions on how to get the improper fraction from a mixed number? Okay. No questions? All right. When you see this part, there's 2 things that will happen. This will change. This sign will change. And also this will change. What is the opposite of divide? Multiply, right? Okay. So far, so good? Okay. Now, you see the 5 halves. this will flip. What is the actual name for this flip in technical terms? They're reciprocal, right? Reciprocal. Known as flip. So we'll flip this into 2/5. So when the teacher asks you what's the technical word for flip, reciprocal. So when you see this, just flip it over. And we're almost done. Now, what numbers do we multiply first? The 7 times 2 or the 7 times 5? The 7 times 2, which is 14, over 5. Now, any questions on this part? All right. Turn this into a prop for a mixed number. What goes inside the box? The 14, right? 5 goes outside the box. And then how many times does 14 go into 5? I believe it's twice. It's 5 times 2 is 10. What's left over the difference is 4. Now convert that into a mixed number. The whole number is 2. The remainder is the numerator is 4. And then it's the fifth, the number 5. Let's check. I love checking these because you never know what's going to happen. 7 times 2 and a half. 14 over 5 is the improper fraction. 2 4/5. It matches, right? All right, that's a final answer. So, when you do the quotient means divide. First thing first, convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. Then you bring down the whole number, divide, like I hear right here. Then you change, when you do this will change to a multiply. And you flip this over, and that's how you get 7 times 2/5. And then you multiply 7 times 2 is 14, and what's left over on the denominator is 5. 14 goes inside the box, 5 goes outside. And what number is closest to divide 14 divided by 5, which is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 4 divided by 10 is 4. 2 is the whole number, 4 is the remainder, and 5 is the denominator. So that is our final answer. So any more questions on this part, on this problem? Okay, we're almost finished. Compared to the last problem, these are two mixed numbers on number 19. 1 and 4/5 divided by 2 and 5/9. Convert these into improper fractions. So 5 goes inside on the denominator. 1 times 5 is 5. That gives us 4 more is 9. Divided by 2 times 9. That gives us 18. The 9 goes in the denominator. And then we got 2 times 9 is 18. Add 5 more is 23. All right. Like the last problem, we're going to leave the first part alone. Since we're going to flip this over, this will change into a multiplication. Then it goes, instead of 23/9, we got 9 over 23. Okay. Hold on. I want to make sure I got it right. Hold on. Let me say 18. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. I may have made a mistake, but you have an idea. So on the homework, I just made a boo-boo, but it's okay. I will say, look over number 19 on your discussion on the lection notes. And I got the same problem. Let me see if I got the problem correct. Hold on. Give me a second, folks. Hold on. Let me see. 2 times 9 is 18. Add 5. It's 23. The problem is 1/4, right? 2, 5, 9. Yeah, I got that right. You got 2 times 9 is 18. You got 23. I think they got the problem wrong. Oh no, it's right. It's right. It's right. It's right. The bottom part I made a mistake. So this is where I'll put down notes. So we got 9 times 9. So we're going to multiply the both fraction. 9 times 9 is 81. 23 times 5, that gives us 115. I was off by one number. So this is, I'm going to write down on the announcement on the section. So, correct answer. Right answer. And this is the wrong answer. I was the part of the number was off by 1. So I do apologize for that. So this is the right answer. 81 or 115. That is the right answer. I was off by 1. So I'll make mistakes. So it's like, whoops. Big doozy. But at least I find out the hard way. So it's like, oh no, I made a mistake on my notes. But it's okay. It's good about math is you correct it and figure out on your own why you're doing the lecture notes. It happens that everybody's like, oh my goodness. But you have an idea, right? So we have 19. We take these two mixed numbers and we convert them into improper fractions. Once you have those improper fractions, you change the sign to multiplying, flip this fraction over, and then once you have that, is any more numbers? Any numbers you can reduce? In this case, is none. And then you're going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator. So, any questions on number 19? There you have it, folks. You just completed the lecture on fraction operations from adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. The step-by-steps on those problems. It's going to be beneficial. Let me go back. So there we got it. So, but if anyone has additional questions from this lecture, you're more than welcome to contact me on Canvas or by my cell number. I would gladly to answer your questions that you may have. Until then, everyone, you have a good rest of your weekend and be safe. Until then, I'll see you next time. All right, bye for now.